Sup guys, Bobby, from Everyman's Preps, where your skills should be as sharp as the blade you carry. Now today we're going to review something that I've been waiting to review for a while. Actually got the scope sighted in a while ago. This is not an actual rifle. This is a air rifle or a pellet gun. This is a hunting pellet gun, and it is a Benjamin Trails NP, which means nitro piston. It's not spring like most other pellet guns, meaning in the chamber, I think right around here, where usually there's a spring that compresses a lot of air into one shot, or sets up the chamber to be compressed with air for one shot. It's a piston, a nitro piston in there. Well, the advantages over nitro piston versus a spring piston, or whatever the spring kind is that you can have this thing cocked. I can keep this thing cocked for quite a long time, and it won't lose its power because the spring won't weaken, or because there's no spring in there to weaken over time. That's a good thing about that. And another thing that gives an advantage over spring air rifles is that it's a lot quieter to begin with. Now, if you've ever seen, if I've ever shown my other air rifle that I used to have, it was a Ruger 177 caliber, and believe it or not, this was a lot cheaper than my Ruger 177 caliber. That's a name brand of an actual kind of gun maker, gunsmithing. I don't know. Like you got the Ruger 1022. You've got Ruger revolvers. They're basically reliable, old, well-known brand of gun, whatever you want, however you want to put it. They make really reliable guns, actual firearms. And this one was a lot cheaper, and I believe a lot better. It came with the best scope I've ever seen came standard with any air rifle. The scope it's a 3-9 by 40 AO. I'm not sure exactly what all those numbers are, but for those who know a lot more about guns and the accessories, then by all means fill me in. Take the scope cover off here. It's got a few adjustments on the scope itself. Like right here, I had it set to 50 feet because I was shooting way farther than what I've measured out. I've actually got a place in my backyard here. Sorry. Got a place in my backyard here where I've measured out by stepping 30 feet away from a place where I usually put my targets. So right here, on the front of the scope, there's this, the front part here. You can adjust this for a more further shot. You can also zoom in up here, and there's a lens here at the very beginning of the scope. You can twist to focus better. Freaking awesome. I'm surprised they put this much work into a pellet rifle. Usually you want to find that much work into an actual gun scope where you're actually shooting cartridges of gunpowder and lead. But that's pretty cool. So yeah, I've had it all sighted in for a while. This is a break barrel, meaning you take the front end of the barrel and you kind of give it a little smack, and it'll bend over, or bend like that. Bend over. It'll bend, or it'll break. The entire barrel will break open to show where you put the pellet in. It's got a nice seal in there. Haven't had any troubles with it. There is my Ruger rifle had this big clunky, I think they called it a shroud or something. It's basically like a silencer for air rifles. Supposed to give it a little more quiet. This one has an internal shroud, but it's super small. You can't even realize it. There's a few ribbings or ribs in like that much of the barrel that gives it the pellet a quieter exit, and it doesn't make so much of a noise. It kind of may sound a little loud on camera, but or may not even hear anything at all on camera, which is a good thing. But the shroud in there is working. The nitro piston has been broken in. It's not as loud as it was when I first bought it. It barely even diesels. But any dieseling that may occur was only because there's still maybe a little bit of oil left in the chamber in here. First thing I did when I bought this gun was I cleaned out the barrel. Basically, you know, like a field cleaning, or whatever, however you want to put it. Another good thing about this gun is it's no automatic safety, but there is a safety in the trigger here. You just push forward, can't pull the trigger. You push it back towards the trigger, can't pull the trigger. Push forward, trigger's free to pull. It's not cocked right now. It's not loaded at all, which is good because we're indoors. But this is a 22 caliber again, in case in case I didn't say that yet. The box displayed a sling for this. I believe this is a 2-point sling. So set up for 2-point sling. There's a portion down here where you would usually hook up one end of the sling, and then this slide right there. I don't know, but it didn't come with it. I've seen other people who bought this gun. It came with a sling, so I don't know if it's because of a factory defect or someone didn't package it correctly. I don't really care. I'd rather buy a sling myself, anyways. Higher quality sling, maybe. The Benjamin Trail, I think, was actually a subsidiary or something of Crossman, because they say that Crossman pellets are best to be used in this, and you know, the company that makes the rifle itself usually says their own pellets are best. But I have some Benjamin Trail hunting pellets. I won't be using those. I'll be using some regular Crossman 22 caliber pellets, and we're gonna go outside and we're gonna see this thing in action. Lock and load, motherfucker. I'm going to show you how this thing shoots, okay? Now I know most of you guys might know how to work these things. Safety's already on. So we're just going to break the barrel, take a shot. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get some different angles. It's a little windy outside, so if you can't hear me, I'll probably redub this anyways. So, load the shot through the barrel, close it up, and then get inside it. Take it off safety and shoot. Be able to show you the massacre after we're done. See, what you're probably hearing instead of it actually leaving the barrel is you're hearing it hit the cup. There's a little bit of dieseling going on here, but it's cold out. Friction of the pellet might actually be heating up the barrel a bit. Not too much. That was a miss. See if we can get a different angle here. So I just found this footage actually today. It's been a few days. It's not too long since I shot this. Um, Although now it's spring and back then it was winter, so it's kind of a big deal. But I realized I never made a conclusion to this review. Basically, this review, all the footage I got of this review was just me explaining, and actually I've had to cut it down a few times because I explained over and over that it's better than my Ruger and that this was a 22 instead of a 177. So what you're seeing here is a lot of it cut out because a lot of it was just nonsense and reiterated. But my overall conclusion of this review, the Benjamin Trails NP Nitro Piston is a fairly good gun. Has a lot of power to it, a lot of stopping power, punch, and even for regular hollow point Crossman pellets, they really are effective. You know, like they're really good. I'm glad I got my camera out there because it was a lot better quality than my webcam right now. I was able to slow down the footage a lot more, so you could see more of the impact, and that the target was just really a red party cup, a Dixie cup, that I filled with snow to weigh it down. But you really got to see a bunch of the splatter of the snow on impact, and you realize you don't even really see an exit. Although I do guarantee you they were going straight through that cup. I mean, it's a 22. This is my main hunting for my requiring of food when I bug out. So this is my main prep. You know, it's a reliable gun or pellet gun. It's not an actual firearm. I give it a 9 out of 10. Nothing's perfect, so it's as good as it's gonna get. The only bad thing that I can think about it is it requires ammunition like any other gun or any other weapon. And this ammunition you can't really reuse unless you have some sort of a mold. Then again, if you have some sort of a mold, you're not using the pellets they ask you to for optimal use. And I've never even heard of someone casting their own pellets for a pellet gun. Although if you're someone who casts pellets for your own pellet gun, good for you. You're more self-reliant than I am. I have to literally stock up on this stuff because if it's going to be a main part of my preps, I'm going to need the ammunition for it. Just like if a 50 caliber machine gun was your main prep, you would have to stock up on 50 caliber rounds. Although I'm not saying that's best. That's actually kind of stupid. Although it would be badass. Yeah. So, sorry. Imagining the fantasy lone survivor thing. No, that's not how it is. That's not realistic. That's cinematic. And if anything's realistic at the end of the day, is we are all alone in our thoughts, in our heads, in our mind. So, from where I am right now, it's like 8 o'clock. Good night, guys.